Hello and welcome to the Dan Edwards Show. I am, of course, Dan Edwards. On today's episode, we'll be taking a look back at the action from this past weekend here at House of Pain Wrestling, and we're kicking things off with Hucknall on Friday, the 13th of September. The show was scheduled to begin with a number one contendership match for the House of Pain Heritage Championship, as Kyle Crimson was taking on Davey Thompson. Before the match could begin, the Heritage Champion Nate Colt came to the ring and said that as he's always looking for a challenge, he said he will defend the title against both men in a triple threat match. As the match was coming to a close, Davey managed to hit a rolling senton onto Nate, but Kyle Crimson was there to hit a bull hammer elbow, knocking Davey out of the ring. Kyle then tried the same on Nate, but Nate managed to avoid this, went for his running knee, but Kyle avoided that, and then came storming in with a bull hammer elbow to the champion to pin Nate Colt, meaning that the new House of Pain Heritage Champion is Kyle Crimson. I was in action next, and House of Pain management had told me that I was taking on Pinky the Pirate's friend, and they had informed me that he was 5'2" and 6 stone. Mr. Riggs then came to the ring as my opponent, who definitely is not 5'2" or 6 stone, so my game plan was thrown out of the window. This is just another example of House of Pain management screwing me over. Mr. Riggs managed to get lucky as I went for a jumping DDT towards the end of the match, and he managed to block this, reposition me, and hit his Tour of the Island slam to pin me. The House of Pain Women's Championship was on the line next, as Harley Harris defended the title against the Beastess, Dolly Dharma. These two went to war with one another, and eventually it was Harley retaining the title via disqualification when Dolly refused to stop attacking Harley in the corner and then shoved the referee down. After the match, Dolly continued her attack until Lights Out Lexi Morgan came charging to the ring to even the odds and knock Dolly out of the ring. It was tag team action next as the Money Mogul Sash teamed up with the Barb Oscar Prospero to take on the team of Kobe Woods and the House of Pain heavyweight champion Joey Slade. During the match, Sash was targeting Joey's knee and ended up injuring his leg during the match, and eventually locked in a single leg Boston Crab to the injured leg. And just as it looked like Joey was going to submit, Kobe Woods managed to save Joey to continue the match. Towards the end of the match, Kobe looked to be in control of Sash, but he didn't see a tag between Sash and Oscar, and as Oscar entered the ring, he got Kobe with the headlock driver, picking up the win. Kid Rothrock was in action next against a hand-picked opponent by himself. He did say it definitely was not going to be Brandon Brooks, as he does not associate with hooligans like Brandon. He then brought out his opponent, the teenage Zach Davey. Zack looked to be in firm control throughout the match until he went to the top rope and went for a crossbody which Rothrock ducked, and Zack crashed and burned. This is when Rothrock locked in a Boston Crab, forcing Zack Davey to submit. After the match, Rothrock continued to attack Zack and locked him in the Boston Crab once again until Brandon Brooks came charging to the ring and sent Rothrock retreating to the back. In the main event of the evening, it was a 6-person tag team elimination match, but the only way you could be eliminated was by being thrown over the top rope with both feet hitting the floor. The teams were Broforce of Mr. USA Lance Flashman, Mr. Number 1 Niall Hind, and the Princess Lexi Olivia, taking on the House of Pain Tag Team Champions, the Sweet Life of Zack and TJ, and their partner, Lights Out, Lexi Morgan. The first elimination occurred when Oscar Prospero came out to ringside and distracted TJ Dean, which allowed Niall Hind to throw him over the top rope with both feet hitting the floor. It was the Princess Lexi Olivia being eliminated next when Lexi Morgan hit her Lights Out Twist of Fate and threw Lexi Olivia out of the ring. It came down to Zack and Lexi Morgan against Flashman and Niall Hind, and it was Flashman being eliminated next when Lexi hit a huge drop kick and Zack pulled down the top rope, meaning Flashman landed with both feet on the floor. Almost immediately after this, it was Zack and Lexi hitting a double drop kick onto Niall Hind, sending him out of the ring, meaning the winners of the match were Zack Roberts and Lexi Morgan. After the match, Lexi Olivia and Niall Hind attacked Lance Flashman due to some miscommunication during the match, at which point Lexi Morgan, Zack and TJ returned to the ring to chase off Mr. Number 1 and the Princess and helped Mr. USA back to his feet. Moving on to Beeston now. On Saturday the 14th of September, the show kicked off with tag team action as Owen Ocean teamed up with Tristan Wheeler to take on the team of Mikey McLovin and Kobe Woods. And it was Mikey and Kobe picking up the win when Mikey hit Tristan with a huge spinebuster for the win. After the match, Indigo Jones returned to House of Pain for the first time in several months, and Tristan and Owen thought he was there to help them avenge their loss, but Indigo threw Owen out of the ring and then hit Tristan with a flatliner, much to the delight of the Beeston fans. Kyle Crimson came to the ring next to celebrate winning the Heritage Championship the night before, and said that he started his career as a textbook protege, graduated to become a textbook graduate, but now he is a champion and he is a leader, and introduced his 2 new proteges. They were Xander Scott and Josh Fenrir. Kyle announced that he and his 2 new stablemates would be sitting at ringside watching the next match, which was a triple threat match between Oscar Prospero, the Massive Matlock, and the Suntan Superman, LJ Heron. This match was action-packed, and eventually it saw LJ and Matlock fighting on the outside, and as LJ made his way back to the ring, Oscar Prospero pretended to be knocked out in the middle of the ring. LJ climbed to the top rope, went for a splash, but Oscar got the knees up and then rolled up LJ to steal the win. After the match, Kyle Crimson got in Matlock's face about him not winning the match, at which point Matlock shoved Kyle away and walked away from the bullhammer. The next match was a non-sanctioned match by House of Pain, and it was the House of Pain resident gangster Jaden Law taking on the Shepherd Johnny Sharp. Jaden wasn't wasting any time and attacked Johnny during his entrance, and these two beat the hell out of each other. Eventually, Jaden went to come off of the top rope, but Johnny avoided this. But when Jaden landed, he hurt his already injured ankle. And this is when Johnny took full advantage of the situation. Johnny managed to hit not one, not two, but 3 Yorkshire Claymore kicks in a row, and clearly had the match won. But when he went for the pin, he pulled Jaden's shoulders up, wanting to dish out more damage. Johnny then locked in an ankle lock, and Jaden was left with no choice but to submit. It was match 4 in the best of 5 series next between Big Man Inc. and the Badly Dressed Boys. And this time it was under submission rules only. As the match was coming to a close, Jackie T and Adam Bolt dragged Kat, Brandon's mum, into the ring, which infuriated Brandon, and he went absolutely insane on both members of Big Man Inc. to protect his mum. However, this was not enough, and eventually Adam Bolt managed to lock in a crossface using a kendo stick to add extra pressure on Brandon right in front of his mum. Brandon, refusing to tap out, Kat attempted to slap Adam Bolt, but Jackie T stopped her from doing so and started choking Kat with his baton. In order to release the hold and save his mum, Brandon Brooks tapped out so that he could save his mum. So now, after 4 matches in the best of 5 series, it is 2-2, leading into the 5th and final deciding match. It was a 6-man tag team match next, as the Black Sheep's Will Roberts, Ryu Genshin and Reina were in action against the team of Joseph Starr, Zach Davey and Big Mike Wild. Johnny Sharp was accompanying his sheep to the ring, but he was sent to the backstage area at the beginning of the match. As the match was coming to a close, Will Roberts was attempting to lock a full Nelson onto Big Mike Wild, but Mike was just too big, powered out of the hold, sent Will off the ropes and hit a black hole slam, picking up the win for the team. In the main event of the evening, the House of Pain Heavyweight Championship was on the line as Grayson Clay challenged Joey Slade for the title. During the match, the referee Lilith got knocked down and Grayson grabbed a steel chair, attacking Joey's already injured knee from the night before. Eventually, Grayson wrapped the chair around Joey's leg and climbed up to the second rope, looking to break Joey's leg. As he was stood there, some familiar music hit, and for the first time in over a year, Brad Matthews returned to House of Pain, charged the ring and attacked the man that injured him over a year ago, Grayson Clay. Brad Matthews managed to get full control over Grayson and then send him towards Joey, who hit the Helldriver, and Brad threw the referee Lilith back into the ring, who counted to 3, meaning the winner of the match and still House of Pain heavyweight champion is Joey Slade. We rounded off the weekend in Alresford on Sunday the 15th of September, and the show kicked off with a singles match as the main spectacle Tristan Wheeler was in action against Alex Roux. This was a very even back and forth match, which eventually saw Alex Roux hitting his Roux Thunderbomb to pick up the win. Grayson Clay was in action next as he went one-on-one with one half of the tag team champions, TJ Dean. TJ looked to have things in firm control and setting up Grayson to pick up the win when the Shepherd Johnny Sharp came out to ringside and attacked TJ Dean, causing the disqualification. The hooligan Ruddy was in action next as he went one-on-one with Big Mike Wild. During the match, Johnny Sharp once again came out to ringside, which distracted Big Mike Wild, but TJ Dean was on hand and he attacked Johnny Sharp on the outside and they fought back to the backstage area. Ruddy took full advantage of the distraction though, meaning that Ruddy was able to pick up the biggest win of his young career. The singles action continued next as the Beastess Dolly Dharma went one-on-one with Lights Out Lexi Morgan. This was a very even match, much like the first match, and it was Lexi Morgan picking up the win with a roll-up. In the main event of the afternoon, it was tag team action as Grayson Clay was back in action, teaming up with the man who had been interfering in matches throughout the show, the Shepherd Johnny Sharp, to take on the team of TJ Dean and the Suntan Superman LJ Heron. During the match, Grayson Clay and LJ Heron got into a brawl which took the referee away from the action, which allowed Johnny Sharp to grab his crook. Luckily, Big Mike Wild was on hand and he took the crook off of Johnny, but as he went to hit Johnny with the crook, he ducked and Mike accidentally hit TJ Dean in the head with it. Johnny then managed to dump Big Mike out of the ring and then pin TJ, picking up the win for the team. Well, that is all I do have time for today, so thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to like the video, share the video, leave a comment below, hit that subscribe button, and I will see you next time right here on the Dan Edwards Show.